आप कौन बोल रहे हैं?
So, very good morning, participants. It's a very great honor for us to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Noor Izura Udzir. And it's a great privilege to hear from you, ma'am. First, we say Happy Women's Day to you on behalf of Galgotias University. It's a really great privilege to host you. So I will just take few minutes to introduce ma'am. She has a very great resume, so it will take time for me to read completely. But I will make sure, like, it's a great privilege to hear from you, ma'am. First, we say Happy Women's Day to you on behalf of Galgotias University. So Dr. Noor is from Department of Computer Science, UPM, Malaysia, and her specialization is computer security, intrusion detection system, access control, coordination in distributed system. And she has more than 15 Scopus papers, more than 2000 citations in Google Scholar, and she has a total of 22 experience in academic. That's a really great experience. More than that, she has a PhD degree from University of York, United Kingdom, and she has completed it in 2006. So not only having a good citation H-index, she has an awesome degree, and she has also got professional qualifications and membership with IEEE and with the Malaysian board, and she is active participant of different networking and other societies in Malaysia. She also currently holds the position of Director Co-Curriculum and Student Development Center in UPM. And she is also used to be the Deputy Director of Co-Curriculum and Student Development Center. She used to be the head of Computer Science and Engineering Department. So she has also done several computer-related projects. And she has also collaboration with other people. So the main purpose of this event is that after the end of the lecture, you will be able to communicate with ma'am through her email ID and start your research. And we have also got a lot of PhD students, and we can have ma'am as one of the co-guide for our students. So once she says okay, we can add her name with proper permissions as a co-guide, so that she will also help you to carry forward the research. So with these few words, I give the stage to Professor Noor ma'am. And thank you again, really, for among your busy schedule, you are here. Thank you again, ma'am. You can start the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson, for today. Good morning, everybody. And I also wish a happy Women's Day to all the gorgeous and amazing women in this session today. Yeah? Right, I will share with you about the basics of publishing. First of all, I would also like to thank Galgotias University for having me with you here to share a little bit of experience and knowledge as well in basics of publishing, organizing, and structuring research paper script. Right, so a little bit about myself. I'm from the Department of Computer Science, and as Mr. Chairman has mentioned, my area research group is in information security. And I've been a lecturer at the faculty since 1998. And those are my email if you would like to contact me. So my bachelor degree and a master degree also from UPM, but my PhD is from York, the United Kingdom. And I had published one book on C++ programming that was back in 2001, and three as a book editor, yeah, 3 books, including 2 from also from my colleagues in India as well, from Ahmedabad, on opportunistic network, and also on the cryptography topics, yeah, for these books. And I've also won 7 Best Paper Awards at international conferences, yeah, and I've supervised over 60 PhD, supervised and co-supervised over 60 PhD students. And I have graduated 11 PhD student under my supervision, yeah, my main, as a main supervisor. And with the supervision also, I have also won Mimosa Prestigious Award 2015 for my supervision of a doctoral thesis, PhD thesis of my student in intrusion detection system topic. So that's a little bit about myself, yeah. So what we would like to look into today for this 1 hour is about the writing and how we organize and structure the papers, which can be a bit of a challenge, especially for those who are still new to writing. Okay, so now when we talk about writing, we may think that you will go and sit at your computer, go through your notes, and then just start writing, and in a few hours you would produce a piece of research writing. Is that right? What do you think about that? Yeah. So no, it's not really the case. Yeah, because it is impossible to start from nothing and so to produce a good piece of writing. Yeah. If you have a blank page, you open your Microsoft Word, for example, you have a blank page, then you just stare at your screen, and you don't know how to start. That will always be the case, at least in my experience as well. Yeah. So what we need to do is a kind of a system. Yeah. We need to organize our material, and then later it will be easier to start writing, because it'll be very, very, very difficult. Yeah, to organize and write at the same time. So we plan first. Yeah, we need to have a planning. You cannot just simply sit down and write. Even when we write programs, yeah, computer programs also, we need to have a planning stages, pre-programming stages first, right, before we do the coding. So that is very important, yeah, to plan your writing first. So another issue, another challenge that I've come across, yeah, especially among my students, how to write good academic sentences. You know, sometimes you can write, but your sentences doesn't sound very academic. They just sound so simple, you know, so like common sentences. Even sometimes, yeah, they sound like you're writing a novel. They sound very, you know, flowery, perhaps, for example, but academic writing or research writing is a bit different. It's different from other kinds of writing. So how do we write good academic sentences? It doesn't just come as a, you know, you're not really born with it. What you need to do is you have to do lots and lots of reading. This is also based on my experience, because I remember, yeah, when I write during my master's, when I did my master's, when I was writing my thesis, for example, yeah, that was back in 1998, 1997, for example. One reader, I mean, a friend, I would say, yeah, a friend, somebody close to me read my thesis. He said that, well, it's like, you know, it doesn't sound like a thesis. It sounds like a like you're writing a novel. So I have to change that. So when I was doing my PhD, to write academic papers, I need to get good sentences, so I would read from other papers, and I would feel like, wow, these sentences are good. These are good sentences, and I would just collect all these sentences. Yeah, collect in my my one file that I just collect all the good sentences so that I can practice, so this is one way of doing it. And read many academic articles, from reputable journals, and they are written by reputable authors, especially native English authors. And over time, of course, this may take time. It doesn't come overnight. Yeah, you will get used to the writing style. And this happens to me when at first it was a bit difficult, as I say, based on my previous experience of my writing. I mean, the sentences I use are not that, it doesn't sound like, it didn't sound very academic. But after that, when I start with lots of reading, I find it more or easier to write. Even my supervisor, when I was in the UK, my supervisor also was quite surprised when he asked me to write a paper for a conference at that time, because I think it was in my first year or second year. And I wrote the paper in 2 days. I finished the paper. I completed the paper in 2 days, of course, before he proofread and check it. But at least, to get a paper ready, to finish a paper is also a challenge. So that is why we need to read in order to write. Yeah. Okay. So writing format, when we write a manuscript, I would say a research manuscript, of course, we have the title, abstract, the introduction. This would be the we could say the skeleton, the format of our paper. Yeah. These are, I guess these are quite common, right? So we will go to that, all these items, one by one. Now we start with the title. Yeah, title is a minor issue. I'm not sure about you, but some people, they prefer to have the title last. To decide on the title last. Some people, they prefer to come up or to decide on a title first, then they can start writing. It's up to your preference. However, it would be good, of course, to have at least an idea of what you want to say, of what you want to write. That would be the we can say the initial title that we have. What is it? And then later on, we can come back after we have completed the paper. We may want to revisit the title and improve on it. So title sometimes is considered as a minor issue, but it is also helpful if the title is very precise, short and precise, but descriptive of the article content. Some people may want to use gimmicky or catchy title, but will they be able to tell you what the article is all about? So it depends. It depends. I'm not saying that catchy or gimmicky title is not good. It depends on the audience that you want to target, or the type of article. Sorry, the type of publication that you are targeting. So a title would normally be a maximum 15 words, not too long and not too short. Perhaps it should be brief. Brief phrase describing or reflecting the content of the paper, concise and informative, and we should avoid abbreviations unless they are commonly known abbreviations. For example, TCP/IP, something like that, or IPv6. Those are commonly known abbreviations, for example. And avoid prepositions and formula wherever possible. I'm talking in the context of computer science, but in other area, more scientific area, for example, example, they may have perhaps a scientific name of a plant, for example, that is different, not within our scope of discussion. Yeah. So the title should convey the objective or the purpose of the paper. It should also portray that research is not common. So normally a good one would have these three components. It would say what is the method used, what is the objective, to do what, to improve what, for example, or to achieve what, and what are the issues that we want to tackle in this paper. However, some types of paper may not adhere or follow this guideline. For example, if you're writing a review paper, a review paper, of course, you will not have these components, these three components. So these are some of the examples. We can see. Notice that the method is in red, the objective in green, and then the problem or the issues that we are addressing will be in blue. So these are the titles. Yeah, we can see here the red one. This is the method that we use. Self-organized agent-based architecture. The method is for power-aware and intrusion detection in wireless ad hoc networks. This would be the issues that we want to solve. And then we can also have the method real-time OCS VM intrusion detection module with low overhead. That would be the objective. The objective is we introduce this method to have for a low overhead. And this would be to solve problems in SCADA systems, and so on. We can see the examples of the title, or even we can also have titles like this with the objective first. Energy efficient, collision free, medium access control. This would be what we're proposing. I mean, the paper is proposing for what? For wireless sensor networks. And these are examples of titles without the three components. We can see these titles, intrusion detection using sequences of system calls. Okay, these are not, the objective is not clear here. That's why we can see that there are no green phrases here. And some of these titles, they may be acceptable. I'm not saying that these are the titles that will be rejected, no. But titles with the three components would be considered good titles. We're talking about good and not so good. For example, we can say that maybe they're not that complete. We want to have a better ones, right? Okay, and then we move to the abstract. Okay, the abstract should not be too long, right? Normally between 100 to 250 words, or maybe sometimes some papers they allow up to 300 words. Depends on the paper. I mean the source, the journal that you wish to publish in. So the abstract is actually, we can say, a concise version of the overall paper. So what we need to have in the content in the abstract, we should have an introduction of the subject matter, or what we can say the background of the area that the paper is about. Okay, for example, if the paper is in intrusion detection, so you would have 1 or 2 sentences about intrusion detection system, or the challenges and so on. And in security, why we need IDS, for example, and then 1 or 2 sentences on the problem statement, or the issue and the objective also. Okay, the objective. 1 or 2 sentences, meaning that I will show you the example later. And methodology, meaning that what do you do to overcome this problem here, to achieve this objective. What do you do? What are the techniques that you use? And then present the main findings and present the main conclusions Yeah, so the main conclusions will be what are the significant contribution of the paper, and what's the limitations, yeah, if there is any, and what's would be the impact on the society or the policy. So this would be the content, yeah, of an abstract. So your abstract should have this. Many abstracts that I've seen, because I'm also reviewers for journals, yeah, ISI journals or JCR journals as well. Many abstract that we see do not consist of these elements or these components in the abstract. So we can say that the abstract is a brief overview of the entire study. So it tells the reader what you did, why you did it, how you did it, and what you found and what it means. So what you did would be the method. Why you did it is the objective. How that was okay. What you did is would be the background. Yeah. How you did it, the methodology, and then this yellow one would be the result. And this is the conclusion. What does it mean? Or what's the significance of your findings or your contribution? So it should briefly state the purpose of the research, would be the introduction, how the problem was studied, and the methods or that you use, the principal findings, yeah, which is the results, and what does the finding means, yeah, the discussion, the conclusion, and it is also important to be descriptive but concise. Yeah, say only what is essential, no more words than necessary, yeah, to convey the meaning. So one example, yeah, we can say, okay, the blue one here, I would say the dark blue one, yeah, is the why. The why you do this. This is the introduction. The importance of data mining is apparent with the advent of powerful data collection and storage tools. Yeah, so this is the introduction. This would be the problem that we want to solve or to address. Unfortunately, normally it starts with unfortunately or however, unfortunately, nevertheless. So data mining problems are difficult to discover, the frequent item sets and so on. So this is why you want to do it. So this paper will propose a model. So this will be the objective. The objective. All this is in an abstract. Yeah, it will propose a model called this thing and two synergistic. So this is the objective, and how you do it, the methodology, and then the blue one would be the result. Yeah, the results, the findings, the main findings of the study. Okay, so this will be the experiments, the result of the experiments and so on, and that's verifying the efficiency and viability. So this is an example. I have other examples as well, but if we have time, I will show that to you as well. So common mistakes, yeah, the abstract is too long. Okay, if it's too long, it may be rejected because there are maximum number of words, yeah, or too much detail. Yeah, unnecessary details. Yeah, the details you can put in the introduction section later in the paper. Yeah, in the body of the paper, or it may be too short. Short is good, but if it's too short, where it doesn't really say or it doesn't give you sufficient detail, enough detail on what your paper is all about, then it may also be rejected, or you fail to include important information. So this is very important, writing an abstract, because many reviewers, they would just read the abstract. If the abstract doesn't say anything or have all these mistakes, for example, the paper will be rejected without even looking in the detail of the rest. I mean, the rest of the paper. Okay, so abstract, writing an abstract is very important, and again, it needs practice. It needs practice. Yeah. Then we can look into the introduction of the paper. Introduction is also important. Okay, another thing, yeah, in the abstract, I just remembered one of the most very common mistakes in abstract is that you write the abstract as if you're writing the introduction section of the paper, meaning that you give too much of the background of the study. For example, yeah, you talk about, I mean, the paper talk about the intrusion detection is very important, and it has, you know, anomaly-based detection and signature-based detection, and then we have the network-based IDS, and so on. So about half of the abstract is I mean, the content is about the background of the area, yeah, the general background of the area, or maybe we can say, you may feel that it may be specific to that area, but still, it's still, we can say the background area, background materials, not really focusing. So the background materials should be all these item, yeah, all these item should be only 1 or 2 sentences only. Okay, 1 or 2 sentences. What is the subject matter? If you're talking about IoT, what is the problem? I mean, the IoT. Why is it important here nowadays? And so, another thing, most students like to use nowadays. So try to move away from all those very cliche phrases. Yeah. Then 1 or 2 sentences on the problem statement. As I said, normally it starts with however, unfortunately, and then objective would be, the sentence would be therefore, because you say however, the problem is this and so on. Therefore, this study aims to propose something, and what will you do, the technique. That is how you write your abstract. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, for the introduction, it is normally 1 or 1.5 pages for a paper, or maybe less, not too much. The introduction is, I mean, 1 or 1.5 pages, depending on the overall range of the paper, depending also on the journal that you're sending the paper to, right? So the background, introduction is mainly on the background. You want to talk about the background. You introduce the research area. Here is where if you want to talk a little bit more, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs on the research area, and then the introduction also should cover the main words in the title. That's why we see the title, all those main words in the title should appear in the introduction. Otherwise, the title can be considered as does not reflect the content of the paper. Yeah. For example, we have this title: an enhanced dynamic job scheduling algorithm based on ANT system in computational grid. So the research background should have, you should talk about the ANT colony optimization, which, because you're talking about this ANT system. We have the grid computing, because we're talking here, all this, what we say, the main words here in the title, and job scheduling. So you should talk about job scheduling as well. So this would be based on the title. These are the main words: job scheduling, ANT colony optimization. Normally it's used for optimization, right? And then the grid computing. Okay. And you should also relate to previous studies, especially when your introduction, when you want to talk about the problem solving, problem statement, the problem that you want to address, then it should relate to previous study as well. And then it should also contain the rationale, or the justification of why you do the study. Why is this research important? Who will benefit from this? Why do we need to know this? Why does this situation or method or model or this piece of equipment, if you're developing equipment, need to be improved? For example. So these are things that you need to put in your introduction section. Then you go to the problem statement. Yeah, the research question, the hypothesis, for example, what is the gap in our knowledge of this research? Yeah, what gap will it fill? The research gap. The research gap has to come from related previous studies, yeah, and what needs to be improved. So meaning that you need to talk about, you need to also to explain, yeah, based on the previous slide, we can say here, yeah, relate to previous study. So we need to say that the previous study has done this. Is however, there are things that that can be improved. Then we talk about the objective. So what is it that you want to propose? What are the steps that you will take to fill this gap, yeah, to improve the situation? So normally the objective must appear in the last paragraph. Then we have the scope. If there is any aspect of the problem that you will not discuss, saying that, okay, this, I mean the scope of the research or the study, or even the scope of the paper, you need to highlight that. Or is the study limited to a specific geographical area, for example, or only in certain aspects of the situation? Now, common problems of an introduction is that it is too much detail and therefore it will be too long. Okay, so again, introduction is also a kind of an overview. So although you will cover the important points, yeah, detailed descriptions, method, the study, etc., can be covered later, in the later sections. Okay, so it is can be considered as a summary of what to follow. Another is that repetition of words, phrases, or ideas. Yeah. So you will have the keywords. That's why keywords is important. Yeah, that is crucial to your study. Yeah, but then do not repeat them over and over. Sometimes I mean the repetition can be a good one, but sometimes you can know whether it is too much being repeated, yeah, on this. Okay, unclear problem definition. That is also another issue, another common problem. Yeah, if you don't have a clear definition of the problem, then your paper is not clear. The reader will also do not really clearly understand the paper or the study that you want to present. And of course, poor organization, because we have seen that there are many items that need to be included in the introduction section, right? Next, we move to the related work or literature review section, yeah, which is also very important. In some papers, they use related work as the title or the heading. So we should have at least 15 to 20 references cited with most current literatures of 1 or 3 years back from the year of submission, meaning that now we are in 2022. So 1 or 3 years back, 2021, 2020, and 2019. So these are the references. But although we say that 1 or 3 years back, it doesn't mean that you cannot cite all the papers, yeah, all the references, because some references, when you cite it, it should come from the original source, and the original source maybe come from 1994, for example. So you should cite from the original source, not the secondary source. Secondary source is when this paper from 1984 being cited by other researchers and cited by other researchers and so on, and then you're citing this researcher in 2020, but talking about this, we can say like a fundamental knowledge of that area, which has been introduced in 1994. So you should go and cite the original source from 1994. Yeah. Okay. So this is all about LR, right? So it's a discursive prose and not a list describing or a summarizing one piece of literature after another. For example, it's usually a bad sign, yeah, to see every paragraph beginning with the name of a researcher. I don't like this. When I read a paper, I don't like this. For example, Fan 2003 discovered that, and then Ali 1997 conducted this experiment. Abu and Hussein found that. Do not start your LR section with the names of the researcher. What you need to do is to write the papers or to organize them into sections or parts of paragraphs that present the themes or identifying trends. Okay. In this area, people have been using machine learning for intrusion detection. So machine learning, and then under machine learning also you have several techniques that people have used. Just choose those that are closely related to what you are going to present in your paper, and then organize them and group them together and write in your own sentence about all the work that have been done. Okay, so that's how you write your related work section. Okay, and indicate the theoretical implications if there are any, and of course you need to include up-to-date references, yeah, based on a wide and thorough search of the sources possible, and it should be unbiased. Sample of a good LR. Yeah, to the best of the author's knowledge, only Song reported details of experimental results and so on and so on. Other experimental works are this person, and so on. However, according to this paper, high accuracy of this, so you give a comment, a critique on the papers, yeah, on the literature that you have done. These high cost experiment devices will not be affordable if not supported by a research fund, for example. So this is one sample, yeah, of a good LR. So it must do these things, yeah, be organized around and related to directly to the thesis. Thesis means the idea, yeah, that we're investigating, the research idea. Not talking about the research or the thesis dissertation. Okay, and then synthesize the result into a summary of what is and is not known, and then identify the areas of controversy, yeah, in the literature, and formulate the questions that need further research. And from this, yeah, you get your research questions, and then you can to formulate the objective of the research. Okay, I think I need to skip that. For this methodology section, it should provide a clear and concise accounts of the methods used. Yeah, such details should be sufficient. Yeah, it must be enough to allow the research to be replicated by other researchers. So this is why we have to be honest in writing our paper, so that other researchers can replicate what you have done, what you have presented in the paper. And the study design, data collection methods should be clearly outlined, and should be able to assess how the research was done, and whether the methods used are adequate and appropriate in the study. The procedures also, what happened, how you do it, and so on. The experimental setup also should be outlined in the methodology section. So in simple terms, what was done and how it was done, what was done and how it was done, yeah, should be recorded in this section. Then after that, after we have presented the methodology section, we move to we should present the results and the discussion. So this is to report what has been discovered from the research, the study. So the normal format is to have the results to be reported factually based on facts, and then formally without discussion, and then after that followed by discussion. So it can be a summary of statistics, and then we present in tables and figures, and we have any statistical tests and measures should be described, allowing the reader to evaluate whether the appropriate tests were applied. And then, of course, a good researcher should mention all the relevant results, even those that go against the hypothesis. So the common problem is that the text includes too much detail that simply repeats data presented in the graph, tables, and so on, without making the results meaningful. So how do we overcome this? We have tables, etc. Used, of course, we use them to present a lot of information efficiently, with the tables, the graphs, and so on. But your job is to direct the reader's attention to significant parts of this information. So how do we organize it? It can be like you present all the results and then have the discussion at the end, maybe or perhaps in a different section, or you can present part of the result, have a discussion, present another result, then have a discussion, and so on. So it depends on how big or the quantity of and the type of the results that you get. So there are two ways of doing this. For me, it's a matter of preference. It's a flavor in writing. Okay. Then there are also issues that we need to relate the findings back to the literature and also the objective. Yeah. So when you write the paper, you are expected to examine, interpret, and qualify the results and draw inferences from that, not simply reporting the results. That is what we call as a discussion, and then it should be able to assess the contribution made by the study. So we should explain the results. Many results are simply presented, but not really discussed, not really interpreted, and also refer to the previous research. So comparisons of the result would support your claim hypothesis or the deduction, and then you can use a deduction as a claim for how the results can be applied more generally. So a conclusion based on the reasoning from the results, for example, can be used to show the significance of the findings, and then of course the hypothesis also can be looked back whether the results, this is in the discussion, we discuss whether the result is the same as the hypothesis is proved, has proved the hypothesis. The common problem, the discussion does not discuss. They simply supply detail about the results. So the solution is that you remember that discussion should explain the result, interpret the result so that people understand the result. Now, the last section is the conclusion section. So of course, the paper should end with some conclusion about the importance of the findings. So you should not make any statements which are not supported by the facts. That is very important. So what statements that you put here, how you conclude it should be supported by the facts or the results. And recommendations based on the findings can be stated here and may include comments on possible improvements, future studies, and so on. And it must fulfill the conclusion. When you conclude, it must fulfill the study objectives. So your conclusion should relate back to the objective. What is it that you're trying to achieve there? Include how the paper advances the research in the area, what is unique about the paper. So it should not be 1/3 of a paper, or better meaning that 30% or maybe one paragraph only for the conclusion. Okay, and of course you can add the recommendations for future work. Common problems: conclusion is too long or giving too much detail, or fail to comment on larger, more significant issues, or fail to reveal the complexities of a conclusion or situation. So the negative aspects of your research should not be ignored. This is when you should be honest to say what is the problem, the drawbacks, or the limitation of your study. And lack of concise summary, fail to match the objective. Okay, now these are some many. For example, we can say it fail to match the objective. For example, the objective earlier, the objective of the paper is to assess the impact of road building on villages, on rural communities. Then the conclusion is the model produced can accurately predict the social and economic impact on road building on villages in Pahang, for example. So we can rewrite, if we rewrite the objective to match what we actually developed, for example, the main objective of the study was to develop a model to predict the social and economic impact of road building in rural communities. So it goes with the conclusion, what we have found in the study. Okay, next, the references. Consistent citing of references. Of course, we know that it should be up to date. So some of the tips that I will share, I would like to share with you in order to maintain continuity between the sections, the introduction section, the methodology, results discussion. It is helpful to consider the manuscript as telling a story, so it doesn't feel like there is no continuity between these sections. So the introduction is very important, and then the conclusion also will conclude everything. So one of the challenges, normally after we have spent so many hours doing the research, not only hours, years, for example, we are normally tempted to try to tell the reader everything, whereas we have limitations in the number of pages, right, for the papers. So that's why the planning stages is very important. It is important to remember that there is a word limit, and therefore we have to remove the unimportant or unrelevant information. So if you have a large study, then perhaps it would be a good idea to break them into several papers. So this is also the tips. Before I go that, if we go back to the earlier part of my presentation earlier, right? It's not easy to start working with a blank page. So you need to plan. You need to plan your paper. You have to have the skeleton of your paper. What is it? What is the main points that you want to share? For me, I would just write, okay, what is the draft title that I want to have? Then the introduction, conclusion, and then in between, what is it? The methodology, LR, of course. And then I put the start from the big sections, and then the subsections of this paper. What is it that I want to say? Even into the introduction, based on what I have shared just now, what are the components? We have that in as a, like the outline, the outline of the paper, the important points, and then we can start writing the paper. Okay, so now after you have finished writing, after you have done, the paper is completed. Of course, it's not perfect yet, but we're not talking about perfect. After you have done, of course, then you check your manuscript. Pay attention to the little things, the formatting. Now, when you want to start writing the paper, as I said, after you have planned the outline, the skeleton of your paper, and just start writing, ignore the language, meaning that don't worry about the grammar, don't worry about the sentences, just write whatever comes to mind. And if you're not an English, native English speaking, writer, for example, you can write in your own language, or you can mix up this is what sometimes I would do, or I would advise my students also, because we don't want the language to be the barrier. I don't know, this is my tips. I find this very helpful also. Yeah, we don't want the language to be a barrier to write. I mean, it will be a block. It will be blocked because of the language. It will be blocking your idea to be put on the paper. Just write. Ignore the language. Later on, you can you can come back, like what I've shown here. Yeah. Now you check back, change the sentences to find good English sentences and so on. So, and remember, pay attention to little things. The apostrophe, comma, the period or full stop, grammatical error, and then also you check the formatting. Depends on the format of the journal that you're going to send to, yeah, so on. So you can do this later after you have finished. The main thing is to put your idea, whatever that you have in your mind, to put it on paper. After you have put them on paper, even if it's not really organized yet, this is after you have done it, put everything on paper, or maybe not everything yet, perhaps. At least you feel that, okay, this is the most I can do at this point. So now you start organizing, rephrasing, write the sentences. That is how it would help to produce a good paper. And then this is what I do. Yeah, this part. This is what I do. And I find this very, very beneficial. Yeah, after I've written the paper, after I have rewrite all the sentences, make it in good English as far as I feel at that moment. Yeah, good English, check the little things, all this, everything, and the formatting, and so on. I've done this, assuming, it looks like a complete paper, complete, perfect for that point. At that point, yeah, it seems perfect. Now, although I know that it's not really perfect yet, but at least for that, at that point, it's considered perfect for me, or complete for me. I will put it away, put it in a drawer, and continue doing other things, or my other work, other task. And was disconnected. Yes, sorry about that. Maybe, right. We still have time. Yeah. Okay, I just finish up. I think I'm almost finished. Yeah, and after that, yeah, when you have reread your paper with new eyes, you find that this is when you find out that when you read, and then some of the sentences, you feel that, what am I trying to say here? I myself doesn't understand what I'm trying to say. So this will help you to improve that sentence. And then ask other people also to read your manuscript, your friend, or maybe your professor, of course. Yeah, because as students, before you submit anything, it has to go through your supervisor first. Yeah, you get your supervisor's approval, then only you can submit. But don't wait until your writing is perfect, because it's almost impossible to get it perfect. Yeah, because also, because if you feel that it is perfect, then when people suggest changes, you won't want to make them. So when you ask people to read your manuscript, get their comments. Can they really understand it? What are the strengths, weaknesses? Get comments from them. And of course, do not get do not feel sad or disheartened by their criticism. Take it constructively, yeah, to improve your manuscript. And after you feel that you are done with writing, again, you have to keep writing, write and rewrite. Your first round, as I said, first round, put down the raw idea. Don't worry about the language. Don't worry about the formatting. Don't worry too much about the organizing. Of course, based on the skeleton, the outline that we have prepared earlier. And then second round, then you improve the sentences, you improve the structure. Then you have other rounds also to improve some more of this. So remember, practice makes perfect. Good writing takes practice. And it takes time for everybody. It doesn't come overnight. Yeah. So this is something that I can share. Yeah. And of course, in writing, finished is better than perfect. This is at least to give you some motivation to start writing. Have it complete, and you feel that as far to the best of your knowledge, this is the most that you can do, the best that you have done, and then ask people to check it, your supervisor, your professor, to check and comment on it. Yeah. So at least the main thing is to finish or complete the writing. So I guess that's all I think I have time to share. Yeah. The rest, perhaps we don't have time for that. Right. Thank you very much for your attention. Yes, back to you, moderator.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your really pleasant talk, and even we learned a lot from you. And it was very slow and proper. We could really understand it. And thanks for your time.
So there are some queries which
we have got some queries that is being posted in chat. So if you do not mind, I will be reading it so that for you to answer. And there are also a lot of comments that has been given. So they.
Sorry, I did not hear. I mean, I missed the question just now.
So sorry for that. There was some technical glitch over internet. And ma'am, we have got a lot of comments on your lecture, and they have given comments like it's a very clear presentation, very good presentation. It was very fine. I could understand it all. They have a lot of good feedback has been given. And we also have got questions, so I'll be able to.
Right.
So like,
yeah.
They have been asking it how to have an accurate title, whether it should be short or long.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yeah.
You can throw some light on it.
Yes. The title should be not too short, but not too long. As I've let me just go back to the. No, sorry. Yeah. The title, yeah, maximum 15 words. Okay, maximum 15 words, and then yeah. So a good title, yeah, good title should have three components: the method, the objective, and the problem that you want to address. So, for example, yeah, this is a kind of a title. What you're saying that what is it that you want to what is it that you're proposing? Yeah, what is it that the paper is proposing? This is what we propose. For what? Why do you propose this? Why? The green one is to have a power aware, and in what? In the intrusion detection in wireless ad hoc networks. Yeah, so this kind of thing that have the three. What is it that you propose? To do what? And in what domain or what area we can see, yeah, something like that. So these are some of the examples that you can see. Good examples of titles, or energy efficient, collision free, medium access control for wireless sensor network. So we can see the green ones, red ones and the blue ones. What are they? Green, the objective. What is it that you want to achieve? Method, the red one are the method that you propose. And where do you want to have this? What do you want to, why do you want to achieve this? In what area or what issues or problem? Yeah, this would be in the blue ones. So if we look at this one, these are some of the good titles that we can share. Okay, what is it that you want to propose? For what and why will you propose it, and for what area? I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was well answered.
Okay.
Okay.
So, for a paper, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, a lot of clarity is being provided by you. Now there is another question: how to know latest and update invention or research about particular topic in single source? This is being asked by Dr. Ashok Kumar. The latest and update invention means the the unique title or the work can be reflected in one particular topic in one source.
How to know latest and update invention or
research?
Query
which is being posted by Dr. Ashok Kumar.
Yes. What do you mean here by single source? You mean by one article? Is that what you mean here, Dr. Ashok Kumar? About a particular topic in a single source. How to know latest and update invention? You mean when you read a paper?
Ma'am, it is for the new review paper.
Thank you, Noor ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a wonderful session of yours, and we have received very good feedback. Thank you so much for joining us on International Women's Day. Thank you. Welcome, Tian sir. Professor Tian.
Hello, Professor.
We will share Yes, you are very much audible. Hello, Professor.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah,
Yes,
hello.
Professor. Yes.
Thank you so much. Happy Women Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we are really very glad to have you here with us. And I'm going to introduce you to our participants before we start the session.
Thank you.
So Dr. Tian An Tran is working as an assistant professor, lecturer at Faculty of Marine Engineering, Vietnam Maritime University, Vietnam. And sir will be talking about finding the right journal and target research for publication in high impact factor journals. This would be the topic of today's talk. And sir has served as, for so many years, sir is in research and sir is working in maritime. From 2011 onwards, the main task and responsibilities sir is taking is he's teaching fundamental maritime engineering, the research on maritime engineering with many papers in international and national conferences. Sir is also supervising PhD candidates, and I'm sure they are having a good time with the professor. The main task of professor is teaching and guiding in maritime environmental science, renewable energy, greenhouse gas emission, risk management, ship energy, and sir has published many papers in reputed journals and international conferences. Sir has got a huge set of papers, and I'm sure here today sir is going to guide us to finding the right journal and the right I should say the title, how to go about a journal, finding and mapping that journal with the right text, what you are writing and what the journal is expecting. This is a major gap we find. So this has to be looked upon and this has to be taken care of. So I'm sure today Professor Tian is going to enlighten us on this. You may start with the session, sir. Thank you so much once again on behalf of Galgotia University. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Vandas and all professor for organizing this session. And it is a chance for me to present my experience to publish the paper for on the international conference on international journal. So that is a good chance for me. And just I want to share something about my experience, and I want to give me the time to discuss about that my presentation, and as long as to get the share experience from the participant from that. Yeah, I just want to share my presentation now. You okay?
Yes, it is very fine, sir.
Yeah, right. Thank first of all, I would like to thank all the professor is Galgotias University in India for inviting me for spend the time to give me my session about that, the finding the right journal and Turkish research for publication in high factors in this corporate journal. I'm teenager. I assistant professor in the Vietnam University. Just I give you some of my contact to for all the participants. If you want to collaborate, I hope so to have collaboration together. So I hope so to get from that. So I just to share the content about the presentation, the table of content. The first one is the main bodies. The main body will have the parts. The first thing, introduction, the speaker, and the second, the researcher and scientific journal, either the Web of Science or Scopus Index. and finding the right journal. And check is the high impact factor journals or recommendation and conclusion. And spend the question and answer maybe more than 15 minutes to discuss for the participant and audience to get for some experience, to say the experience, because I think that in the topic is a hot topic for researcher, for the student, for all professor that to want to publish a high impact factor journal. Introduction myself. I'm Tiến Chan. I assistant professor at the Vietnam University in Hải Phòng, Vietnam. I graduated from the Bachelor and Master of Science from the Vietnam Maritime University, and I received my doctor degree at Wuhan University of Technology in China. And here I'm author and reviewer from the International Journal Index, the SCI and SCIE or EI. Here, I'm leading web editor and editor board member for some of the international journal. I edit some of the paper and some of the paper and the correlation with some of the my connection in the world. So that's I guess some of the experience to share my knowledge about that to choose the right journal to publish. Researcher and scientific journal in the Web of Science or scopus. Researcher, that means who work in the university, the research institute or research center. The researcher will be the professor, senior lecturers, postdoc researcher, or PhD student, or master student, or undergraduate student. Almost in most researcher, the win has a mission to lead to do in a teamwork to solve the problem, the big problem. I think that is a big problem for relating on the science and technologies. So the outcome of the researcher will be the research paper. The research paper, that means I have saw some the paper to publish, but not in the high quality journal. So I just want to give some experience to prevent from the journal in a low quality index. So I think that the should choose the appropriate journal very carefully before to start in the writing or to publish paper. An official scientific journal will be in the Web of Science or Scopus. Now in the Web of Science will be hosted by Galgotias Analytics. But before that, the Web of Science in this Galgotias Analytics in the before I starting the researcher when I working on the PhD student. I work on the Web of Science in the Thomson router. So this day the Web of Science is hosted by Galgotias Analytics. And Scopus, the Scopus index will be the hosted by Elsevier. It means, as you can see, you can say or have seen some of the paper, the research paper published in the will be on the Science Direct, for example. When be using some of the paper, when maybe some of the paper will be indexed is a corpus. I have some of the something relating the knowledge, the basic knowledge about the Web of Science journal or corpus. The Web of Science have many index from that. For example, the Science Citizen Index, the SCI, and the Science Citizen Index Independent SCIs, or Social Science Citizen Index SSCI or Amazing Science Citizen Index, the ASCI. The Science Citizen Index or Citizen Index independent will be for the science and technologies, and the Social Science Citizen Index for the social science and literature's review. And even some of the tool for checking the database, the journal index, the Web of Science or Scopus database. Here they have some of the website from the database, the Web of Science or Scopus. Yeah, is some the either address to check the journal before you are submit. Here the preface of the Web of Science to check. You can using the ISSL number to check the journal, and to search if the journal index the SCI or SCIE or ASCI will be. You can see the web of. You can see the Web of Science science collection from that. Yeah. Is a preface of the Scopus. Is a preface of the Scopus checklist. You can using the name of journal or the SIIL index number to check or the journal index in the Scopus or not. How to find the right journal to submit? I mean, the first thing you find the journal to submit, you need to writing paper. I think just the presentation, the above presentation of the professor in Malaysia has said some knowledge to how to write the paper. So I said some experiment to conduct the research paper. Before you writing the research paper, you need to conduct on research. How to get the result? You need to get from the result to research. After that, you have the experience to write the paper, right? And also the writing the paper, the white draft the paper. If you get some the research design from the doing the experiment or to finding the new methods to apply to solve the problem relating on the engineering or science and technologies. So after that, you have the enough the knowledge, enough the skills to write the paper. So you start to writing the paper. And after the writing the paper, you need to support from the supervisor. For example, the senior researcher or senior professors. Some of the professors should help you to proofreading before you writing the paper or finish the paper, or revision. Revision just means you need to correct something, and after that you check the final manuscripts. So you should submit the manuscripts on the filing journal. The filing journal. So how to find the right journal? If the find the right journal will be have the blind peer review processing to giving some the paper will be giving some the experts or some the professor in the world to check and to read the research design from just the blind peer review process will be conduct from the test, the first test when you submit the final manuscripts. After that, the journal, and journal will be get from the decision from the editor in chief or web editor or some editor boss member to get the result or accept or reject, right? The accept or reject, if you get the accept the journal from the journal, it's a dry journal, it's a dry journal. You to find in the dry journal, it's a dry journal. If you get the paper accepted to publish, for about the reject, it is wrong journal. No, don't have the definition about the right or wrong journal. The reject, it means you need to reject the paper. I want to share my experience of about the reject paper. The reject paper, you will need to improve the paper based on the comment of the editors, of the reviewer, of the editor. And after that, you need to redetermine the quality of paper. How to redetermine the quality of paper? You need to send the paper to the supervisor, the senior researcher, and to review, to check the checks again after you are submit. After that, you get from the suggestion of the supervisor or researcher or professor, so that they submit the journal. First thing, they submit the journal. And how about the targets, the high impact factor journal? The high impact factor journal, that means for the researcher, it means the journal index the SCI or SIE, the third one, the Q1 ranking, following the SCI Mongo Institute ranking. If you check the ranking of journal, depend on the SCI Mongo website. And for the requirement, how to the publish the SCI Q1 journal, absolutely you have requirement from that. The requirement from the journal in the novelty contribution of the science and technology. What is the novelty contribution of the paper for the from the doing research, right? And how to contribute from that? You need to clarify the novelty contribution about the research paper when you are doing research and you get the result from that. After that, the second, you need to improve or upgrade the efficiency performance from the research results, and you need to upgrade from that and giving some better result when you are doing research from the other research. And the third thing, utilization of research results into the empirical work. So after all the researcher, you need to get some the checkings and to how to apply or how to utilize the research design from the industrial in fact. So you need to verify the results before you submit. So I give some of the recommendation and conclusion about my presentation. Or just the first thing, researchers should be taking the high impact factor journal index the web of science or corpus. I have showed you some tool to check the web of science or corpus in the journal. And second, a collaboration between the researcher in the world should be conducted to be contribute the science research results from the science and technology. That means isn't the have some teamwork. What is teamwork? Teamwork, not only the research group from the university or research center or in the each country. Researcher from need to contribute and co-collect some researcher in the world to compare and to contribute to study from together from the researcher to get some the the contribution or to get the design and design to do in research for contributor the science technology with the same field about us. So the collaboration very important. This one is that we when see some of the paper, we publish the money the author. The author come from another money the country. So it's a good paper. For me, it's a good paper because that's they have to the uh, giving some the idea, the money the idea to do research and to collaborate together on the researcher in the world to contribute their fields. And some university in the world should have the good policy to encourage the researcher who has a silent contribution in the high impact factor journal. The high impact factor journal just means the journal will be impact the infect the generalize the science technology. So the research design, good research design, very important. And to get the research design, you need to make more some contribution and make more the time to do research. And the government or university should increase the research project to recruit the master student, PhD student, or postdoc researcher to enroll to momentum from the contribution, the research design from just to LQL to increase the cooperation between the country together in the world. Because each researcher want to become a researcher need to collaborate and to contribute in the world, not each country. Each country is in the Pacific, but in the world in general, to contribute the science technology from all the world in the science technology. Yeah. So I think that is the collaboration and share the experience, and it's a good design to good experience to share the experience from that such as the internet conference now. So I thank you very much the university in India to organize and invite the participant and me and all the researcher in the world to participate the conference, to share the experiment and to give some idea from that. I hope to get to the knowledge and share the experiment and to discuss with the experiment from that, from the session from that. Thank you so much. So I hope so get from the question from the participant and audience. As well, I asked them from my experience to do the research. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I will take up certain. Yes. So I'll be taking certain questions from the participants. Thank you for the nice session you have taken. We are really glad for you that you have joined and you have given your precious time to us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the question and the presentation. Now I got the question from the participant in the chat box, right?
Yes, it is in the chat box. I will just share it with you. The question is that if I will publish the research paper in unrelated journal of my subject area, so is it good or bad? And if it is bad, then why? This is the question from Dr. Ashok Kumar.
Thank you, Dr. Sukumar. Either good questions. Thank you so much. For issue paper published the unrelated journal, it means he out of corpus, out of corpus or journal. So the editor-in-chief or editor boss will be decided before to start the reviewing. So if you submit the I think that in the wrong journal, it means our scope of journal or designating the field of journal. So the editor-in-chief will be an associate boss will be decided from the paper from that. Not giving some the reviewing processing. So I suggest you need to choose the high impact journal. It's a top journal. In the SCI Q1 journal. You need to check the SCI Mango to submit. For example, each your paper relating on the, for example, relating on the computer science, for example. But the computer science, so money is more field. It varies why. So you need to choose a paper to submit the SCI Q1 journal relating on machine learning, for example, or pattern equalization method journal. So we have some journal is suitable for that. But if you think that is suitable, but the editor-in-chief will be checked before you review processing. So giving some rejection. So because what is rejection? Because you choose the right journal. Because it's the in honor scope of journal, but the novelty contribution. I have said to you, the novelty of contribution is not enough. So the editor-in-chief or editor boss will be decided, right? And after the year, you need to improve. It's very important, right? Thank you so much.
So there's another question from our participants. I will take that question also, sir, with your permission. So there's a question from Gaganjot Kaur. How is interdisciplinary journals affect the quality of paper?
I think that's the interdisciplinary journal will affect the journal. It will affect the quality of journal. Even not sure. I think just not sure because the journal before to submit the website database or scope journal will be to check the scopes or the cost and the arm of journal to publish. So in the journal, normally the relating on the engineering or engineering of technologies or computer science or ocean engineering for that. So almost the paper published from relating on the field, on the one field, the main field, right? The main field, because money is the method from the field, from the engineering, for in the engineering from that. So money is the method. You can submit the journal, but the right or appropriate methods is suitable to publish to when you are published is the right journal. So interdisciplinary engineering journal not affect from the quality journal. It because quality of journal will be indexed and be checked carefully before to submit the Web of Science database or corpus, right? Yeah.
Okay, so there's one more question, Professor. Question from Michael. It is publishing in high impact journal looks like the editor seems to accept only manuscript from known authors. So this is one perception we can say, one perception among authors. So could you please tell, is that so?
So it means is anything on the GP processing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because some for example, if I edit the SCI journal, the top tier journal.
Yes, that is true.
So,
that is true.
Yeah.
So we should not in a way, we should not think in a way that it is going to be like that only. That it is going to be accepted only from the known authors. It is not like that.
Right.
We should have a positive approach.
Right. I need to at least for example,
yes.
5 journal, 5 reviewer.
Yes.
The top tier, the Q1 journal will be send the 5. At least the 5 or 5 to 5 or 6 reviewer to avenues or paper. So it means from the reviewer will be the experts from the in the field. So to give me some the comment. So if the comment is the negative comment from that, you don't not worry about that, because the comment help me or help the researcher to improve the paper, because you are think just the right paper is good. So but the international journal is a chance from the researcher in the world to collect together, to share experience from that, right? And also is the reason I said in my presentation about that, the collaboration together to internship the student from another world to university to exchange the knowledge, because the knowledge should to exchange. So international journal is a good platform for the researcher to exchange.
Very well said. Very well
Right.
said, Professor.
Yeah.
We have to think that whenever we are submitting and the type of reviews that we are getting, this helps us improve our writing.
Right.
Also, it gives us research questions which can be explored further.
Right.
Research is never complete, in short, right?
Right.
I think you will agree with me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Yeah.
Okay. Professor, there's one more question from Bhanumati. Should we select the journal for publication based on impact factor or SCI index?
When you submit the paper, you need to choose the first thing. You need to choose the journal index, the SCI. You don't care about the impact factor.
Yes, very true. So I would like to add something that definitely the indexing is more important as compared to the impact factor. So you may land up sending your manuscript in a fake journal also. So you should always try to check the SCI indexing first.
Yeah, I give some the tool to check the either the SCI or SCI, not SCI. Yeah.
But many authors do not know about this indexing, and they are only looking for the impact.
Yeah,
And
to focus on the impact factor is not right, because that's the index very important.
Indexing is very important. Very true.
Index,
very true, Professor.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vanda.
It was lovely having you here, and you have really spoke well. And most of our participants are glad to have you with us. And definitely in future also, we are expecting, and will be again contacting you for future collaborations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I request all the participants to please fill in the feedback form and be with us. We'll be starting for the next session. We request you all to please fill in the feedback form. The link is there in the chat window. You have been a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for your feedback. We are really very overwhelmed with the feedback and the registrations that we have got. We have got 1,000 registration for this talk. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence. Thank you. So the next session will be from 2:30 onwards. And the topic of our last session for today is grammar usage and style for academic research. This is again one of the most important, I should say, aspect for writing a good paper. And we'll start by 2:30. So I request once again, all the participants, please fill in the feedback form and join us again back for the last session of the day at 2:25, 5 minutes before. Thank you.